Welcome back to Anxiety Makes Me Poop. How's everybody doing today? It's Sunday morning. I am a day late. I think I may have put on social that this episode was going to go out on Saturday, but I had to think about it a little bit more. I had a very interesting experience at work this week, and it got me thinking that maybe I wouldn't be the only one, that I wasn't alone, and maybe people can relate. So here we go. I was at a store doing my usual retail thing that I do when I noticed two team members of that store, they were kind of keeping an eye on me at a distance. So I smiled at them like, hey, I'm just here. I'm not doing anything wrong. And they looked away immediately. And I thought, okay, that was kind of weird, but whatever. So later I realized that they were pretending to work on an end cap and watching me. Like, did they think I was going to steal? I wasn't wearing a big jacket, I don't think. Like they were still just keeping tabs on me. So I was like, okay. And just to be clear, I had my name badge on. Like there was no mystery why I was there. Like I was taking pictures of candy and I was making notes of quality assurance items and, quality and stuff like that, making sure nothing was moldy. Like that's the kind of stuff that we do. At one point, I saw one of them in the back room and I asked him a question and he barely looked at me, gave me kind of a half answer with just kind of a hand up. And I was like, okay, super strange, but whatever. I mean, he answered the question. I was able to finish my assignments and I got into my car. And on my way home, of course, my mind started wandering a little bit. As my mom would say, I'm not exactly spring chicken status, okay? So I asked myself, in this situation, if I was 30, if I was younger, maybe I was showing a little bit more skin, maybe I was tan, maybe I had really long hair, maybe I had a little bit of makeup on. I know that it's natural now, makeup is more natural, but would they have acted differently towards me? Interesting, right? Would they have said hello? Would they have smiled? Maybe they would have greeted me warmly because it was like, oh, here's this bright 30-year-old. Instead, they're looking at a 50 seasoned retail worker. And I know that our minds like to, and our brains like to connect dots that aren't there. So just bear with me. I just want to talk about this, okay? And that's when it hit me. This isn't just a personal question. It's a cultural question, right? Like there's real science behind this, okay? Researchers have studied something called age-based social invisibility. As society prioritizes youth, attention often shifts away from older women, me. It's not about you being less interesting. It's not about you being less competent or less attractive, because as we age, it's a beautiful thing, okay? It's about cultural biases that have been ingrained over decades. And it's also called the halo effect. Halo, H-A-L-O, where people assumed to be attractive are treated more favorably. Favorably. And you start to see why younger women sometimes get more warmth and maybe some casual friendliness. Okay? It happens. Was this the situation? I'm not saying it was. I'm saying that my brain put dots together and said, well, if I was this and if I was this, would they have treated me differently? Okay, so we're just talking about this as in a neutral conversation. Maybe you've had it happen to you. Maybe it's never happened. Amazing. Maybe you're younger and wondering, are my looks gonna get me to where I need to be? But we all age, okay? And maybe something like this will happen. Here's the thing. We're bad at mind reading, okay? Maybe those two team members thought I was corporate. Maybe they were nervous about being watched. Maybe they thought I was checking up on their store. Maybe they didn't recognize me. I had been in that store before, but I think they had worked in other stores that maybe I didn't visit, okay? Their guarded behavior might have had nothing to do with my age at all. At the same time, we can't ignore the real influence of society is what I want to talk about. Youth bias is real. In some situations, people may unconsciously treat younger women or men differently. We're going to talk women because that's what I am. Here's the upside. Women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond are often perceived as more competent, more authoritative, more emotionally stable, and more trustworthy. So think about that. It's inside, right? That's a different kind of power, way different kind of power. And it's one that younger women haven't learned or earned yet, okay? It's outward when you're a little bit younger, sometimes, okay? There are very, very brilliant people of all ages. There are gorgeous people of all ages. We're all beautiful, okay? So bear with me here. This is where your confidence as an older adult comes in. Confidence in the aging seasons isn't about being the youngest in the room, okay? It's about being centered within yourself. It's less about seeking validation from others and more about noticing your own authority, your own presence, your own worth. What am I worth? And it better be a lot. It's about walking into a room knowing that you know how to carry yourself, right? And it doesn't matter who's looking because you know who you are. I'm going to give you a little perspective on this. I was watched for about 3 or 4 hours the other day, okay? It was very weird. Never approached. I waved. I smiled. I said hi. Nothing. It was kind of like they just looked away, okay? That wasn't the indifference. That wasn't invisibility. It was just like curiosity and caution, okay? Like, who is this person? It was kind of insecurity in their part too. Like, why didn't they just walk up and say, hey, where are you from? Who do you work for? What are you doing? You know, I have had people do that most of the time, actually. They come up and they say, who do you work with? And I tell them, they go, oh yeah, of course, please, do what you need to do. Or they'll say, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Can you please help me with, right? Okay. So I didn't lose power because they were watching me for these hours. I radiated power. They wanted to know why I was there. They spent 3 or 4 hours of their time watching what I was doing. Okay. Here's the real question. It's not about whether younger versions of ourselves would be treated differently. The question is, how do you feel in your own presence? When you're reflective, competent, unshaken, your confidence commands a visibility that youth alone can't buy, okay? And I'm not comparing youth to maturity. I'm not, I promise. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it as my perspective of being someone that's 50. Now, if we're going to talk about confidence, we're going to make it practical because that's the whole point of this, right? I feel this way. I feel like I walk into a room, no one notices. I have to approach people. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's build and sustain on confidence, no matter our age, no matter the age, 20, 30, 40, 50, beyond, okay? Here's a little bit of a roadmap. Know your value. Write it down if you have to. Write down your value if you have to. I write everything down, everything. Your experiences, your skills, your emotional intelligence, your patience with people, depending on what part of life you're on. I lost my patience last year during the change, but all of it counts, okay? When you can articulate your value to yourself, you stop depending on others to validate you. I'm going to say that again. When you can articulate your value to yourself, you stop depending on others to validate you. Such a good one. Body language is your power language. Body language is your power language. Stand tall. Make eye contact. Take up space. Take up space. Even when you feel small inside, acting with authority rewires how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself. Take up space. You're allowed if you want. If you're an introvert, then don't take up space. It's up to you. Challenge internal narratives. Guilty. Raising my hand. Every time that little voice says, I'm too old for this, or they won't listen to me because I'm old, call it out. Call it out. Replace it with, I know my worth. And my voice matters. Absolutely. It's small, but over time, it shifts your thinking. It just shifts everything. Surround yourself with people who lift you. I am very, very fortunate. Everyone around me lifts me. But then again, I may have chosen that, right? I do have a couple people that at one point brought me down, and I had to let it go. I had to let them go. So maybe as an older woman, we learn to surround ourselves with people who lift us. Maybe we drop off those that don't. And in return, we're in their circle as well to lift them. Let's not forget that, okay? Competence is contagious, okay? Being around people who support your presence and celebrate your achievements keeps your confidence alive and thriving. It really does. Sometimes I just call up Cass or Bestie or another bestie, and I'm like, tell me I'm dumb. And I'll tell them the story, and they'll be like, no. And then their perspective is so calming, and it just brings my confidence back up, and I just go, thanks, thank you. And I do the same for them as much as I can, I hope, right? Take action consistently, okay? Don't let something like what just happened to me and my mind went, don't take it. Take action on it immediately. Immediately, I was in the car and I thought to myself, well, this is just going to be a good episode for Anxiety Makes Me Poop, because I'm doing it right now. I'm in the moment thinking about all this. Confidence grows through doing. Already in my car, I was like, forget them. So they were watching me. They didn't want to approach me. Fine. It was because I took up space. They didn't know what I was doing. Speak up, volunteer, start that project. Do it, because you know how to do things. Try something new. Each step reinforces the truth. You're capable, you're powerful, and you matter. And that could be good for anyone at any age. Take up space. I want you to embrace the seasons, okay? Your confidence isn't about trying to be younger, okay? It's about embracing wisdom. You've learned a lot these years. It's about authority. It's about the depth that comes with time. What you know. Every year you live adds layers to your presence. Own them. Own your layers. Here's the takeaway I want you to hold on to, okay? Aging doesn't make you invisible. It makes you seen in a whole new way. People may not always notice. They may not always respond the way that you expect. They might watch you in the corners. They might look over and just be like, what is she doing? I'm intimidated by her. She's older. She exudes confidence, right? But that's your story, not theirs. Your confidence and what you expect is your story, not theirs. We don't care about their story. We don't care what they're making up in their minds, in their heads about you, okay? Your confidence is about showing up anyway, fully present, and fully yourself. When you step into a room, knowing your worth, carrying your experience like the armor it is, you're untouchable. You don't need approval. You don't need validation. You just need to keep moving, keep speaking, and keep shining. And one more thing, here's the truth. Life doesn't stop giving you chances to be noticed, to be valued, or to be admired. It doesn't stop ever. It just rewards you differently. And when you embrace that, you realize something amazing. Your confidence isn't about turning back the clock. Can't do it. It's about owning the moment you're in, commanding it, and letting the world catch up to you. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.